A very good morning to you. How are you doing? It's another beautiful Friday or Furahide morning. Welcome to Lifestyle Friday on Jam 316. Thank you for taking the time to hook up with us. Now, interesting topic we have today. A couple of, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, about 2 weeks. Well, last week actually. Last week, a friend of mine, Tony Gobanga, posted something on his social media page, and it's basically he has this social media page where people ask questions about relationships and marriage. I've hosted him on my show several times talking about marriage, and so he had this scenario that a lady had painted and asked, basically saying how she's pregnant. But the circumstances of the pregnancy is what was strange, because she said she and her boyfriend have not had penetrative sex. She said all they do is fool around. Fool around. I don't know what fool around means. Maybe we'll get into that. But she says they just fool around, and she discovered she is pregnant. Quite a number of women responding and said, it's possible. It happened to me. We were also just fooling around, touching one another, all these things, and I got pregnant. And I thought, okay, we need to talk about this. Because looking at the number of responses on that post and the number of women who are saying, yes, it's possible, it's happened to me, it happened to my sister, it happened to a friend of mine, let's have a biology lesson today. That's what we are going to be doing on Lifestyle Friday this morning. We are going to go back to our biology class, and we have a doctor who will be joining us shortly, a gynecologist who will be joining us shortly. Let's talk about pregnancy. How does it actually happen? Is this scenario even possible? Pregnant virgins, is that even possible? We'll talk about that on Lifestyle Friday today. If you've had a similar experience, I would love to hear from you today. Love to hear from you. Where you got pregnant without penetrative sex? Talk to me and tell me your experience, because apparently it seems like a lot of the young people are going in that direction today because they want to, abstain. But is that really abstaining? Especially in the church, where you're not supposed to have sex until you get married, but you want to engage in all these other things and still say you're okay. That's a story for another day. But talk to me if you have a similar story on 20316 for SMS, WhatsApp 0786 316 316, and then get yourself a pen and a paper, because today we are in class, our biology class, all about pregnancy and how it happens. It is Lifestyle Friday. My name is James Okumu. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Eden Tea, the finest garden tea. If you haven't tried out Eden Tea, I'm encouraging you to try it out over this weekend. It's available at all leading outlets at affordable prices, and it is the finest. When you talk about tea, the aroma, the color, I'm telling you, the taste, absolutely refreshing, absolutely fantastic. And it comes to you in a variety of flavors. We have Eden green tea, Eden lemon tea, Eden purple tea, Eden ginger tea. You also have Eden premium tea. Whichever way you like it, they'll give it to you in that flavor. And so try it out this weekend. You will not regret it. Eden tea is reminding us we are not yet out of the woods yet, where the coronavirus is concerned. And so let's not be quick to go back to our old way of life. Let's continue washing our hands consistently with soap and running water. Let's continue putting on our face masks. Let's continue maintaining distance even as we interact with other people. It is these small habits that go a long way in keeping the virus at bay. And not just this virus, but also helping with keeping other diseases at bay. So let's continue to do that. Let's be our brother's keeper. Like I said, Eden Tea available at leading outlets at affordable prices. Get some for yourself this weekend. Enjoy it with your family, and I can guarantee you will not be disappointed. It's 12 minutes after 8, Lifestyle Friday. Today we want to get into our biology lesson. We are waiting to get connected to the doctor on Zoom. It's all about pregnancy and how does it happen, because like I said earlier, a friend of mine had put a post on social media where this lady was saying, she's a single lady dating, and she's pregnant, and she says, I'm pregnant, but we've not had penetrative sex with my boyfriend. All we do is touching and fooling around, and I discovered I'm pregnant. But the interesting thing is the number of comments that came through on that post, and different ladies saying it's possible, it happened to me, or it happened to my sister, or it happened to a friend of mine. I thought, we need to go back to school, and we need to have a biology lesson to learn about pregnancy, How does it occur? That's what we're going to be doing today on Lifestyle Friday. It's Lifestyle Friday on Jam 316. It's one of those days where everything seems not to be going the way it's supposed to go, but you know what? The Bible does tell us that all things work together for good to them that love God and are called according to his purpose. We are having some trouble connecting with the Daktari. Network is fluctuating here and there, but you know what? It is what it is. We keep moving. The whole discussion of pregnancy. I have a very interesting SMS here. You know, in case you've just joined us, the background of what we are looking at today. A friend of mine had posted something on social media about this lady who was saying that she's pregnant, but the circumstances of the pregnancy is what people were debating about, because she was talking about how she has a boyfriend. She has a boyfriend. They've not engaged in penetrative sex. They've been fooling around, touching each other and all these other things, and then she's pregnant. Now the boy is refusing. He's saying, we've not slept together, that is not my child. And so is it possible? And so we were supposed to have a biology lesson today, a refresher course, but Daktari is having trouble with the network. Let's hope we'll be able to get him before we run out of time. But if we do run out of time, I want to promise you we will get him, we will record this, we will air it, because I think it's a very important discussion for us to go through. I have an interesting response to this text coming in. It says, tell them, Pastor James, it happened to me. With our clothes on. My dress was silk, but he had his trousers on. The result is now an adult, but his father never accepted the reality until 20 years later. Tell them to keep social distancing, kabisa. That one tickled me, that keeping social distancing, kabisa. But several SMSs saying, no. You can't fool around and not expect things to happen. So I don't know what you think about this whole scenario. There's quite a number of responses, like I said, on this post that was put on social media, and several ladies coming forth and saying, it is possible, it happened to me, and now I have a child. Is it really possible? If you're a doctor, you're tuned in today and you're listening to me, talk to me. Give me some feedback. 20316 SMS line. WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. Is it possible for a lady to get pregnant without penetrative sexual intercourse? We would love to know that. We need a biology lesson. And the reason why I think this discussion is important, now, talking to the singles in church, apparently this is becoming something where you have a boyfriend or you have a girlfriend and you fool around. You engage in heavy petting, heavy kissing, and all these other things because, you know, I should abstain. As a believer who is following after Christ, the disciple of Christ, I know I should abstain till marriage. But you want to go through the preliminaries and not get into the main act, and you convince yourself that is okay. Is it okay? It is not okay. There's a scripture I will share with you in a bit, even as we continue with this. Look out for Food for Thought with Professor Ndete. That will be coming your way shortly on this show as we look into matters mental health. But before we get to that, today we have a bit of a challenge. We've not been able to connect with Daktari, but we will make sure we get in touch with him and do this again, because it's a very interesting discussion. Some of the comments coming through on this whole scenario, in case you're just joining us, is to say the whole issue is, can a lady get pregnant without penetrative sex? Because several people from a post on social media indicating that that's happened to them. I also had one listener SMS today and said that's exactly what happened to her almost 20 years ago. The boyfriend refused. This child is not his. He only came to accept that about 20 years later. This one is saying, I'm wondering if it's possible for a lady to get pregnant without having sex. So, who is the father of the baby? And whose DNA does the child have? Swali ya kwanza kuuliza ni ati kama unakunywaga ka sanitizer, but you're being funny. But listen to this one. This one is coming in from Dave. Dave says that, hello, Pastor James. Yes, there is a chance, and it may be possible for one to get pregnant without having sexual intercourse. If, for example, sperm gets into her vagina. For example, if she or her partner have semen or pre-ejaculate on his fingers and they touch her vagina, or the partner ejaculates near her vagina. All this said and done, bottom line is that Christian boundaries have been broken. We may not condemn, but then the light and salt expected momentarily wasn't there. I urge our young people not to awaken love until it so desires. That's some good wisdom there from Dave. Dave, thank you so much for your SMS. We truly do appreciate that. Looking at some more responses that are coming in on this whole issue. Well, we will get to Daktari and we will get to the bottom of the bottom line of this, finding out biology lesson. How does pregnancy happen? This one is coming in from a pharmacist. They say, yes, it is possible to become pregnant with fooling around. It's a rare thing to happen since sperms can't survive in open environment for long. But once it's in contact with fluids from both sides, then the sperm will easily penetrate. Bottom line, if sperm ends in the vaginal area, then 90% possibility of pregnancy even without penetration is guaranteed. So young people should stop fooling around. Interesting thoughts coming through. If you've had a similar experience, feel free to share with us. 20316 SMS line, WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. But I do promise you, next Friday we will have Daktari on board and we will get into our biology lesson to find out truly how does a pregnancy happen and are these scenarios possible biologically. But it seems like they are. Well,
Food for Thought with Professor David Bitte.
a very good morning to you. Hope you're having a good day so far. Welcome to another episode of Food for Thought with Professor Ndete. This is the segment where we get to discuss different issues that affect our minds and also mental health, which is a very important subject in this day and age because many people are suffering because of mental health issues, and sometimes we have stigma associated to mental health issues because of lack of knowledge and information. And so in this segment, we seek to give information that will bring you to a place of understanding how to relate to and how to deal with people who are undergoing mental health issues and how to find help for them. Today, we want to begin a series looking at the whole issue of suicide. Suicide has become something that is very common in this day and age. A lot of people giving up and just wanting to take their lives. But what is going on in their minds? That's what we want to understand. Professor Ndete is with us again. Professor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for finding the time to join us again today on this segment. Let me begin by asking you, what makes somebody suicidal?
There are different reasons that people become suicidal. Most of them are mental health related issues. Some of them, quite a number of them, are also social related issues. But the commonest cause of suicide is a condition we call depression.
Okay.
And it accounts for close to 80%, 80 to 85% of all known cases of suicide. Then there are other very many medical psychiatric conditions that can precipitate the thoughts of suicide, like chronic illness, substance abuse, alcohol abuse, chronic anxiety, and also different types of stresses that may lead people to develop those psychiatric conditions. What I have decided to do today, with the permission of your viewers,
Yes.
is to look at our own data, Kenyan data.
Kenyan data, that's good.
Kenyan data. And we'll discuss those issues. I think I'll just basically, I'm holding the resource here with me, so I'll just read them to you as they will appear in international journals.
Okay.
But why should we go to international journals without our people getting to know what it is that is happening in this country? But basically, when a person is suicidal, they begin to lose hope. They cannot see the future, anything that is bright in the future. That's how it starts. And then they go backwards and they look into their past and they think wrongly that they have been failures all the way around. When in actual fact, many people looking at them will think that they are role models, they have been very successful.
Okay.
And then they also come and look at their present and they say, there's nothing that is happening. And then gradually, they started developing ideas of taking away their lives. It occurs in three stages. suicidal ideas, and with your permission, I'll read them. And then when they have gone past the suicidal ideas, they start planning how to take away their lives.
Yeah.
That we call the suicidal plans. And then eventually there's an attempt on one's life. They make an attempt, they may die, or sometimes likely they do not die, but they may have caused themselves considerable damage to their health, physical health. Like, for example, if they jump from a height, they may survive with medical care, but with physical deformities. If they take poison, it may damage their stomach. And of course, there is also the issue of stigma.
Okay.
And they may have to live with that stigma for a long time. So these are the issues that are very important to in dealing with people with the suicidal behavior. Yeah.
Okay, so Professor, if I'm hearing you right, this is not just something that happens suddenly. It is a process that an individual goes through. No one just wakes up and decides one day to take their life. There's something they have been walking through over a lengthy period of time.
You are correct. You got me right.
Okay. I'm just wondering, is there a way you can tell that somebody is beginning to have suicidal tendencies? I remember some years back, there's a gentleman who jumped out of the window of one of these prestigious companies, and a colleague of his was telling me, we were shocked. We had no idea he was going through all this. So I'm just wondering, are there ways you can begin to tell that somebody is having suicidal tendencies?
I think sometimes it's very difficult to know. And it can even happen, it can even slip through the hands of very experienced people. And it was done with me in the past. People just slip through my hands, and I couldn't understand why I didn't pick this up. And I know how the very senior psychiatrists, especially where I trained, where it first happened, something terrible happened, and I was devastated. And I went to talk to my senior, and he told me it's a learning process, we all go through it. So if it can slip through very experienced hands, it can slip through familiar people, like families and friends. Because more often than not, when people are suicidal, or they are making plans to take away their lives, they tend to keep it a secret. Or they may just give you some hints, which you may not, if you are not really alert, you may not think that they mean much.
Yeah.
For example, somebody may, okay, we are not going into, we have said depression is a very common condition, so you can always know when a person is depressed.
Yes.
And I think we have talked about that. So if you recognize the symptoms of depression, then you can confront these people and ask them. In fact, that is a way forward. Confront them. If you think they are depressed, or they are having a condition, is it possible that you are having this problem? And it's been shown that by making that confrontation, you can actually prevent depression suicide in a large percentage of people. Because people with the depression, or people who are making plans to kill themselves, about 80% make an attempt to get help or talk to somebody in the hope that the issue of suicide might come up. They do not come and say, I am suicidal. Very few of them do that. But they behave in a particular way, which with the experience you can be able to pick it up. For example, somebody might start asking you or me or a friend, of course they will not ask as psychiatrists, but they can ask as a person, what is the best way to kill oneself?
Yes.
What is the easiest way? Is it hanging? Is it taking drugs? Is it taking something? And I don't want to mention those drugs here because I don't want to give it.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. or they may go to a pharmacist these days when people just shout medicines. Once they get the ideas and say, can I have this kind of medicine, not knowing that, without asking a question, why do you require this kind of medicine? Or it can be somebody who goes to his family, and because he's planning and is not coming out, what he's planning to do, you tell the family, if anything happened to me, this is where I want to be buried.
Yes.
These are the issues my family will have to contend with or deal with. We know that is very fashionable, writing wills. But then people can start talking like that when the actual motive is not just write a will, but they're actually planning to kill themselves.
Wow. So basically, if I suspect or I'm looking at somebody and I'm thinking they might be suicidal, I should not ignore what I'm feeling. I should follow up on it.
In fact, what you should do is confront them.
Confront them. Okay. How do you do that?
Confront. With these words, is it possible that you are thinking about taking away your life?
Wow.
Remember, I said a little bit earlier, these people don't like what they are planning to do. Yet they want people to know about their plans when it has already happened.
Yeah.
In fact, they are so determined to kill themselves, but they won't say so. But they are also hoping something might happen because they realize it's going to be very painful for the family. They realize that. And I say 80% of them, the people who kill themselves, would have spent the previous 24 hours or the last 1 week or so, the last 24 hours for 2 days, hoping that something will happen, hoping that somebody will come and talk to me and get me out of this mess, because they realize that it will be a terrible mess. But they don't have the courage to say that they are planning to do it.
Okay.
So confront them if you suspect it. And if you confront them, you take the steam out of it.
Okay.
And they are actually grateful to you that somebody has confronted them with this idea. And then you can start talking to them.
That's good. That's good.
That is the way I feel it should be. Is we, as a family, basically what I'm saying is this. The prevention of suicide is a collective activity. Not only for professionals, but all of us.
Thank you so much for your time this morning, Professor Ndete, and giving us insights into suicide. Now, we'll pick up on this conversation on the next episode. I'm sure in the next episode, we'll get into the figures and the statistics. So look out for that next week on Friday, right here on Jam 316 Lifestyle Friday. Have a good day.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs, from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.